Hey everybody, welcome back to Is It a Buy, where we talk about stocks and try to determine if they are worth a buy or maybe a pass. My name is Corey. I just like to preface the video by saying I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy who likes to talk about stocks, so please take what I say with a grain of salt, all right? Another disclosure, full transparency here, I do have positions in both AMC and GameStop, and so just take that for what that is, all right? Let's get into the video. Today I wanted to talk about something interesting. It's a little more theoretical, but I've been trying to get my point across about how, limit sells and all this stuff is going to work, but we're talking about the squeeze specifically, right? And the squeeze is a tricky thing because people are saying, oh, is 2K a meme? Is 10K a meme? Is 1K a meme? People don't really know exactly what can happen, but I do feel a lot of things are in our favor, and we'll kind of go over this one part that I want to talk about because people, I keep seeing people say, oh, what should I do with my limit sells? Should I set it super high? Should I set it low? Yada, yada. Should I not set a limit sell? And so I've seen a few different theories. We'll talk about a few of them. Let's take a look over here. Now, keep in mind, this is a theory craft. We're going to look at Coinbase because I want to show you something a little more theoretical. So Coinbase over here, it IPO today, and essentially what happened was it was supposed to IPO around 250, and whenever it opened all the way at 381. So it just gapped up, right? And so take a look. So this is what happens whenever people set these sell limit orders, okay? And granted, please keep in mind, this is a little bit different, but just to get my point across, we can see here that people started at, you have all the way, and this is just what was seen at the time, 374 all the way to 299. So from 250, and theoretically what would happen? It would gap up because there has to be a buyer and a seller. You guys have to agree upon a price, and it has to go there. And so we can see here exactly what happens. So these people want to sell at 300, these people want to sell at 310, and so on and so forth. And so theoretically, those orders would be filled on the way up, and that's how this like short squeeze would go, right? Because whenever the hedge funds are forced to cover, they're legally obligated to cover, and they do not have a choice no matter what the price is. Theoretically, this is something that would basically happen, right? And we can take a look. Let's take a look at a more real example of GameStop. So let's say the time is upon us. Let's say it's time for them to cover. They have to purchase the shares, and now here is what they have to purchase. So theoretically, this person here with 8 shares would be filled at 348. So it would gap up, or whoever's doing the sells. But let's say magically there are no sells, it gaps up to 348, right? Excellent. Well, that's cool, but if this person didn't have their 8 sells here at 348, theoretically you could have gapped it to $5,000. You know what I mean? And granted, I'm sure this isn't the entire limit sells that are on here. I'm sure there's a bunch in between here, in between all of these, even between 166 and 348. I would not be surprised in the least bit if that was the case. But just so you can see here how this stuff can work, and remember, whenever they're forced to purchase the shares, that's why they say you determine the price. You are determining the price. And if this person wants to sell their shares at $100,000, guess what? They don't get a say in it, the hedge funds, because all they're being told is you have to cover now or else, and I don't think they want to do the or else option where it's just very, very bad for them. Yeah, and that's basically it. I just wanted to cover this, and people, again, so back to the question of where should I set my limit orders? Well, whatever it's worth to you. Some people set overnight, they set their limit orders or the limit sells, their limit sells to these amounts, and maybe they'll wake up and it'll get filled. But imagine being this person. Imagine you get it filled at 348, which is great. I'm sure this person will probably be happy for it being filled at 348. But what if it goes from 348 to 5,000? And now this person just sold here whenever they could have sold at 5,000. And it's like, well, hopefully they're happy, but I'm sure the FOMO of missing out on that huge gap up is really going to suck. And granted, I'm not saying it's going to gap up that high. Pretty unlikely that it'll gap up that crazy, but there's going to be a lot of pressure one day, a whole lot of pressure, a whole lot of, and again, my theory of they're going to be margin calling themselves, where they're going to buy in, they're going to margin call themselves. And I think other hedge funds who are afraid that they're also going to get margin called, they're going to jump into, and they're going to kind of be battling it out. And then other retail investors are going to jump in, try to jump on the squeeze, ride it up, more pressure. And it's going to be a huge amount of pressure. And so we could blow through some of these sell walls very, very quickly and actually gap up. I would not be surprised in the least bit. But, I would hate to be the person at 348 and then it gaps up to, even 1,000 or wherever it would go. So that's that. Just a little bit of theory crafting for you guys, just to think about it. So I guess, for the third time, going back to the question of, where do I set my limit sells and stuff, I actually saw something pretty interesting of, either set it here or set an alert. Webull's pretty cool. It has alerts, and you can set an alert to price changes if it goes above or below. I have it set here to buy the dip, or 10% for the SSR rule. And that's kind of how I have mine. So you can set yours if it goes above $500 to you get a notification, and then you can start watching it and think about what your floor is. And remember, your floor is selling it when it's going to come back down. It's not selling it on the way up. So you don't want to sell it and like, oh, I'm up 100%. I feel good. I'm just going to go ahead and sell. You don't sell it. And this is the theory that is going around. You don't want to sell it whenever it hits 300, right? Let's say your floor, let's say it's 300. Well, you don't want to sell at 300. What if it goes up? You could have gotten 500 theoretically, and I think it's going to go much higher than that. But in this particular example, it's, let's say 300 and you sold at 300. Well, it kept going up. Why not let it keep going up? And then, if it hits 500 and it starts to go down a little bit, we'll say, you know what? Now my floor is now, 450. And wait for that. Or maybe you'll think it'll bounce, or, you can set a floor and, you can get it on the way down, which could theoretically maximize the profits, because for this particular example, let's say, you want to buy it on the way down. So I don't want to beat that too hard, but anyway, so just a little bit of theory crafting for you guys, and hopefully that helps clear a little things up. And helps out a little bit. But thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch the video. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did like it, please consider subscribing or dropping a like. It really helps the channel out a lot. But other than that, you guys have a great day. Peace.